Welcome aboard Djazairiya Virtual Airlines. We are now beginning the boarding process. Please have your boarding passes ready and proceed to your assigned seats. نرحب بكم على متن الخطوط الجوية الافتراضية الجزائرية. نحن الآن في عملية الصعود على متن الطائرة. يرجى تجهيز بطاقة الصعود إلى الطائرة والتوجه إلى مقاعدكم المخصصة. As you board, please allow other passengers to move through the aisle freely. Your cooperation ensures a smooth boarding experience for everyone. أثناء صعودكم يرجى السماح للركاب الآخرين بالتحرك في الممر بحرية. تعاونكم يضمن تجربة صعود سلسة للجميع. If you have any questions or need assistance, please wait until boarding is complete. A flight attendant will be happy to assist you shortly. إذا كان لديكم أي استفسارات أو تحتاجون إلى المساعدة، يرجى الانتظار حتى انتهاء عملية الصعود. ستكون مضيفة الطيران سعيدة لمساعدتكم قريباً. We thank you for choosing Djazairiya Virtual Airlines and wish you a pleasant flight. نشكر لكم اختياركم الخطوط الجوية الافتراضية الجزائرية ونتمنى لكم رحلة ممتعة.
أعزائي المشاهدين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rushdie. I'm the founder and creator of Djazairiya Virtual Airlines, and we're coming to you today for a hopefully explanatory and instructive video for all you guys, new members and onboarding folks into our new virtual airline, so that you get hopefully a better understanding of our operations, of our visions, of our ambitions, and what we're looking to achieve and complete within a near future or a further future. I do get my timestamp here because I have done a French video yesterday for the same matter. And listen, I'm a human being. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reproduce it exactly word for word to the same exact way that I have done it in French, but I'm going to try to stick to the topics each at a time, and so that we can basically cover up the entirety of what you need to know. Obviously, Djazairiya Virtual Airlines is a new virtual airline, completely fictitious, doesn't exist in the real world, that was created initially, I would say about 10, 15 years ago, maybe a little bit more. However, the project has never moved beyond just creating a name for it. And then so everything went into practice about a month ago when I and myself and one of my fellow assistants, who is the chief operating officer, Sofiane, have come together and elaborated everything, created the livery and worked into the system, the elaboration of the airline, the virtual airline as a whole. And from there, it went up until where we at today. It's going fast. I have no idea. It's going out of control, but we are trying through this virtual airline to mimic, to create a level of realism that is unprecedented in the flight simulation environment. We're going to handle the operations of the airline, the way that everything occurs, even insignificant things to you guys will be handled in at least the highest level of realism, to mimic really the real operating of an airline in the real world. through our operations here. Obviously, how do I know that? I am part of the aviation world. I do have a position right now in the aviation world. I've operated multiple airplanes within 15 years, and now we're on the 777 learning. I very recently got type rated. So if you have any questions, please, by no means, come over to the Discord and ask, and I'd be much more than happy to assist you in sharing my understanding of the bird and my knowledge of it. So without further ado, if you guys are interested in knowing a little bit more, please go get yourself a coffee, stretch yourself, get yourself ready. We're going to try to make this video as compact but as short as possible, but we also want to share all the important information with you. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, as you can see here, beautiful picture. I'm going to switch over to you. Beautiful picture of an A350-900 from Djazairiya Virtual, registered 7 Tango Juliet X-Ray Bravo. And then it has a name, which is Hasiba Bamboli, which you may not be able to see with the Algerian flag here. Obviously, I have to tell you that a lot of our content and pictures and even delivery itself was, I wouldn't say generated by AI, but influenced by AI. So it was imagined initially by myself and my staff team. But we actually got things together with AI. You know how it goes. You ask for one thing, it goes completely wrong, but then you try to change it and you try to make sure AI follows along. So it makes it really exactly the way that you want it. And this is basically a cooperation between us and AI, which in 2026 seems to be something that is possible. So what do you want to tell you? I love this picture, and so that we are using it as our intro picture of our Djazairiya vAMSYS page. Now we're using vAMSYS as our prime system, and the reason is because we believe that vAMSYS today is one of the most expensive tools that we can use to try and get as close as possible to the real life operation of a virtual airline. And by that, what I mean is we do have a lot of tools to set very restrictive and very strict, operation conduct, the way of maneuvering your airplane, landing rate, departure time, arrival time. We really can simulate that through vAMSYS in the most brilliant way. I really love it, and that's the reason why we're choosing vAMSYS. Now, Djazairiya Virtual Airline is not by any means meant to be just another virtual airline. No, we want to stand out from the crowd. We want to be a unique virtual airline, and therefore we are going to be offering a lot more than what vAMSYS allows us to. And by that, we mean that we're going to be using Discord to add additional processes and procedures to the virtual airline, which we're going to go through together. But before we go there, I would like to have a little bit of a module for brand new vAMSYS users. Then we go on to the people that are more experienced with vAMSYS and explain them how to get around and whatnot. So let's assume that you are a brand new vAMSYS user. You have never been to vAMSYS. You don't know what vAMSYS is. What you need to do is you will go to vamsys.io/register/Djazairiya. It's going to take you to the Djazairiya registration page. You're going to have to enter your name and last name, email address, password. You accept the policies and all that stuff, and then you log in. You create your account. Once you create your account, it's going to send you an email. It's going to ask you to verify your credentials. Once you've verified that, you'll be presented with this page. That's going to be your dashboard of Djazairiya Virtual. You'll see your name here, your ID, your rank, and then a little badge that represents your rank and whatnot. First thing first, whenever you get access to this dashboard, we want you to go to account settings. And from account settings, you need to go to social, online, and third party so that you set up your account so you can talk to your Discord account. Very important to mention that Discord is mandatory for the well-being of our operations. There's even a NOTAM that we're going to go through, which talks exactly about this. The reason why we are making it obligatory for all of our virtual pilots to join Discord is because we have an enhancement package that comes through the Discord that makes your experience as a virtual pilot with Djazairiya Virtual the most I would say complete experience, the most realistic, because you're gonna have to go through a whole lot of set and procedures that you wouldn't do otherwise on a normal VA on the flight simulation world. I understand that a lot of people just want to do a flight from point A to point B and then be done with it, but we do actually have a lot more processes for the people that are seeking that, bit of extra realism onto their operations. And we talk about it a little more detail as we go on to the video. So what you will do is when you go to social, online, and third party, this button should be blue for you, just like this color, and it would say link account. You'll click on that. It's gonna show you a prompt to authorize vAMSYS to get access to your Discord account. And once you do that, you'll see your username here, and there will be a code here, and that's it. You're all set, all ready to go. The next step for you is gonna be to go to our Discord. Okay, the Discord is on the description section of this video, so feel free to do that. Once you go to the Discord, and if it's your first time on our Discord, you should be able to see these 3 pages here, these 3 channels, right? As soon as you join the Discord, the system is going to detect you. It's going to say welcome to you. And then you'll have an explanation here that's going to tell you essentially to head to VA Access in order to get started. When you go to VA Access, you'll be seeing a set of explanation in French and in English. In your case, for our English users, you go right here, you follow along. It's going to give you the link to join Djazairiya Virtual, which I showed you earlier. And if you already have a vAMSYS account and you've been member of various vAMSYS airlines, you just have to hit the login button. Regardless, if you already have an account, it's going to detect it and it's going to tell you directly whether you want to join Djazairiya Virtual or not. Once you've done that, you head to screening. So it's here. And assuming that you have done all of the previous steps that I've showed on the setup of your vAMSYS account and the Discord, you only have to request access here. So just click request access. Our bot is going to detect your user ID from vAMSYS, and it's going to rename you on the Discord the same way you're named on our vAMSYS account, and with the same ID. So all the information is going to be synchronized, your stats and your activity and whatnot, and I'll show you this in a little more details later on. So as soon as you do that and you have requested access, you'll be presented or you'll be given the roles to get access to the Discord. If you, for some reason, don't have a vAMSYS account and you haven't followed VA Access and whatnot, and you just end up on the screening page and you want to have a designated code, you can do so. If you just want to reach out to us because you want to ask a question, because you're stuck, because you're unable to do anything, you can either go to screening, get a designated code, come into the server, you talk to us, we'll help you, we assist you to get everything set up. You can also go to the YouTube channel in the comment section. I beg your pardon, and you can send a comment, and I will. Somebody's gonna reach out to you and be more than happy to assist you. Either way, for the normal flow, if you've gone through the vAMSYS process and procedures and you've requested access and it's been granted, should be done automatically. You'll be given the member, the active pilot, and the cadet pilot row. And that will open up a whole lot of things here for you, which we're going to go through in more details in a moment. So first of all, we go through the announcement page. The announcement page is just simply, it's just for you to know the latest VA news that are more that have more stuff to do with the Discord, with the structure of the VA, not necessarily the statistics or the vAMSYS side. This is the non-vAMSYS side news of the VA. And then the VA news session, or the channel, gives you the actual vAMSYS side news of the organization. So you get the events, you get the stats of the airline, you get the fleet updates. I mean the NOTAMs. You get there was the first official YouTube channel launch, which was done yesterday, and I've done exactly the same video in French for our French users. And then I believe you have daily summary of our operations and whatnot, and that's for us to keep track on, the basically the expansion of the virtual airline. And then you have the community tab here that gives you the general chat, and this is for you guys to talk to each other if you want to. You're not obliged, but there's a way for you guys to communicate and get to know each other if you want to. Screenshot is self-explanatory, so you can share with us your best screenshots. Please, best screenshots only. Then you get media. Media gives you access to, it gives you the chance to, if you want, share with the community videos and whatnot, media content whatsoever. Then you go to the operations tab, and you have the livery design. Livery design here is really meant to be for you guys to take a sneak peek, to have a sneak peek of our upcoming liveries, upcoming deliveries or upcoming airplanes. You can see a sneak peek of them. This is the Juliet X-Ray Bravo when it was being painted and getting ready. As you can see, I was kind of giving you guys an idea of what it would look like to excite the people and whatnot. This is the A320 Neo, and this is when it was getting painted. And it would announce, the upcoming of multiple stuff on this channel. You have the flight trades, which is reserved for our pilots wishing to trade shifts, swap shifts, or coordinate for airplane replacement. Because at Djazairiya Virtual, technically you are responsible for each airplane that you fly out. So whenever you fly out, you have to fly back in. If you cannot fly back into your base, you need to arrange with another pilot to take over the airplane and bring it back to the home base. So we're trying to mimic the operation as much as we can and as closer to realism as possible. Then you have post-flight reports. Post-flight reports, we call them the PFRs. This is what we do in real world following the end of a pairing or a flight in general. We do go to our iPads and we close the flight by submitting a report. Whether it's good or bad, we can it's mandatory to submit a report in real life, and we want to do that as well on the virtual airline. So just to give you an idea here, you can click create a PFR. It's going to open up a ticket for you. Once it opens a ticket, it's going to ask you to fill out the following. So what you do is just copy paste, then you enter a pilot and role, the route, the aircraft type, departure and arrival time, flight duration, any issues, any events. For example, you're on final and there's an airplane that just gets into the runway, lines up and starts taking off, but it's kind of illegal or it's kind of weird. You send us that information, and we'll take that information really in consideration in order to shape the organizational structure of our VA, and we will try to coordinate with different online networks to make sure that this type of behavior is avoided, not only for us as a virtual airline, but for the community as a whole. And we also want to learn from your flights. So if you have a bug with an airplane, you can share it. If you have a bug with a simulator, you can share it. If you have an issue with maybe a crash to desktop or anything, you can share that with us, and so on. You get the point. If you have no issue at all, please tell us, I have had no issue, everything went well. We would be happy to learn about that. You also have the optional feedback. It's optional, you don't have to, but if you have lessons learned on each flight, we would like to learn about those and celebrate them with you. And then you also have the option to attach up to 10 screenshots with your PFR, so that we can actually take a look at what your flight looked like, and we can share those pictures with the community. There will be some events where we will offer rewards, actual sceneries, airplanes, or even money in the context of screenshot competitions. And if you want to take part of it, please look at your NOTAM section, which you're going to talk about. It's going to share with you all the information about that. And we'll let you know whenever there's a competition that is open so we can start competing with each other. Then you have the route suggestion. Hold on, what happened here? Yeah, we have the route suggestion here. This is a section for the community to share with us what destinations they want to fly to. Obviously, it needs to depart from one of our 3 bases. We got Algiers International, we got Oran Essenia, and then we got Tamanrast Aganar in the desert. So pick one of those 3 departure hubs, and then pick a flight you want to go to, and you send it in the suggestion form. The community is going to have to vote, and the destination that has the most amount of votes will be selected and approved for the next rotation of routes Then you have the Jumpseat requests. This is a section that we're going to talk about later on. Just going to keep it blank for now. Then you have test pilot application. This is for a beta phase where we were asking pilots to submit applications. Thank you very much to the people that have actually joined for the beta. We really appreciate your input. Then you have the training department. Training department has voice channels, training center, and flight debriefs. So training center is really for the people taking part in our ground school program. More on that later on. And then we have the flight debriefs, which is basically an area where we can meet with our pilots following a bad PIREP, a bad flight. If you have a crash, or if something really bad happened and you were responsible for something, we can actually meet with our pilots to have a debrief, to have an explanation of what happened, what occurred, and kind of coordinate with the online networks, either to... I mean, we try to support our pilots as much as possible, but we want to have an understanding of what happened. So this, we're not expecting to be using this much, but, you know, we can also have good debriefs. If something went awesome, and if you're seeking, for example, a certification, we will have a debrief with you and we talk about that. So, moving on, now that we have done a familiarization, a tour of our Discord server, we're back to the virtual airline. And what I want you to look at, now that we're back to the website, is this green section here on the top. Why I want you to look at that is because it is meant to be visited first. It's called Operational Alert, and this is meant to give you the most urgent information about the virtual airline that you need to know. Why? Because you're benefiting from it. Obviously, at Djazairiya Virtual, we do have ranks. We do have a variety of ranks that you can actually find. I'm going to expand everything. Oh, you can't. You have a variety of ranks, which briefly we're going to take a look at here. So you start as a cadet pilot, and then you go up to junior first officer once you reach 2,000 experience points. Then once you hit 5,000 points, you become first officer. Then at double that amount, you become senior first officer. And then double that amount, you become a captain. And then a little more than double, senior captain, L1, and so on and so forth. One thing you must know is every time you hit a new milestone, a new rank, you start generating extra points because you have that rank. Okay? And the more you progress within the organization, the more credibility you achieve as a member of the community of the virtual airline. The more credibility you get, the higher you get up to the point of becoming a staff member, or you could become a technical manager, you could become a training director, you could become a CFI, you could take part on our ground school program, and so on and so forth. You could become a member that would get into the decision making and the direction of this organization. Obviously, we're seeking certification from IVAO and vAMSYS. And hopefully, you know, the further up you move up the rank, the closer you may get to even becoming CEO. I'm not going to be CEO forever. At some point, somebody's going to have to take over. And we hope that you, watching this video, may actually get there. And so, what this does here as an alert is actually it advises you that there's an opportunity for you to get extra points so that you can move faster towards your ranking progress. When you go to the dashboard here on my profile, you see that obviously I'm the CEO, but I'm also a pilot. And right now I am a junior first officer, I believe. Yeah, it should be here. Next rank, first officer. Okay, so I'm a junior first officer. I still have 1,295 points to go before I become a first officer. And that's kind of how it works. When you do delivery flights, you can actually end up reaching bonus points, like you can see here. I did the Juliet X-Ray Bravo from Blagnac, Toulouse to Algiers, and I have reached 1,150 bonus points. You can see I've done a delivery from Painfield, Seattle to Gander, and I got another 1,000 points. So when you do deliveries, you get bonus points, and that actually expedites your achieving of of next ranks. Obviously, not every single flight is going to give you a lot of points. So these are opportunities for you to fast track your progress within the organization and earn more points. It's going to come with a challenge. So these events will come with a certain compromise, either a difficult landing or a dangerous airport, or in this circumstance, delivery, which means faraway destinations. For example, the first one you can see, Lella Fat Mansumer, is at Painfield. You need to go to Algiers, but before you go to Algiers, you need to go to Gander. At Gander, you are only allowed to stay for 16 hours maximum, which means that your second leg needs to start within 16 hours of the first one ending in order for you to achieve those points, right? And so on and so forth. I let you read this with more details. We have a whole section about it that we'll go through. And just like I said earlier, we have the rank progression. We have the awards. You have a section here that gives you an idea of how the scoring works. Accepted PIREPs, what does it mean? Rejected, what does it mean? And so on and so forth. When you do have a rejected PIREP, it's going to show here. If you have a reply needed, it's going to show here. Basically, that's how it is. You do have auto rejects, which means your PIREP is going to be rejected no matter what and without any further discussion. In the case of using time acceleration, because we try to mimic the highest level of realism, and we try to hold ourselves to the highest standard of simulation here within the airline, we will not tolerate any time acceleration use, whether it's explained on MSFS or any other flight simulator that you may want to use. It's not going to be tolerated. We won't also tolerate any mid-air refueling, and it's going to be met with immediate rejection, unfortunately. You can contact us in regards to that, but it's part of our policy. We unfortunately won't allow any exceptions on this matter. If you have a gear up landing, a rejected due to excessive landing rates. If you let me back up. If you land with your gear up, so you land on your belly, then it's going to be sent to staff for review. We need to have a debrief. Remember that debrief channel? We're going to meet there. If your PIREP was rejected due to excessive landing and you want to dispute it, it's going to be sent to us, and then we will debrief on that, and we will see if it can be accepted, or if you need to redo it, or if there's anything that we may ask you to do so that we can accept your PIREP and erase the bad mark. If it's invalidated due to excessive landing, it's also sent to us. So you have the G's configuration, the FPM configuration, and also if you pause your flight more than 5% of the time, of the total amount of time that you've been flying. And you also have a mandatory PIREP review, which is random. Whether you have a good PIREP, a good flight, and that you abide by all of the rules and all of the procedures, and everything goes super well, there is a metric that at random is going to hold your PIREP for manual review, just so that we can make sure that we're learning from your flight. We make sure that everything is going on well. And then we also analyze your PIREP to make sure that the system is actually reading through things the proper way, and that you don't get necessarily penalized for things you may not have done, or also be gratified for things that you may also have missed. So we do that also just for the well-being of our operations. Then you have the scoring for each airplane here. It gives you each airplane has obviously their range of acceptable landing rates, what is considered too soft, what is considered too hard, etc., etc. We go back to the dashboard here, and I want to go next to the NOTAMs section. The NOTAMs section is one of the most important category of our operations, because we try to keep you aware of everything that is of utmost importance within the airline and its operations. And so you need to always be aware of every NOTAM that pops up and acknowledge that you have understood the purpose of the NOTAM. If you just acknowledge without reading and you go on to do a flight and something wrong happens, then you get penalized. You will be held responsible for having accepted and acknowledged that you understand without actually understanding. So we're going to go through these. The video that I made yesterday did not have the last two, because they were added after the video was posted. So I am going to stop at where I ended yesterday's video, so the Jumpseat system implementation, and then the rest is for you to consult. I've already kind of talked about that briefly, and it doesn't really offer any more add value to this video anyways. So we start with this one here. This one was the revision from March the 30th, 2026. Basically what it says, and we try to go as fast as possible, straight to the point. We understand that limiting certain add-ons may be frustrating for some members of our community, and that these restrictions currently prevent several aircraft types from being used in Microsoft Flight Simulator, as well as explained. It is also important to clarify that the presence of an aircraft type in our schedules does not imply that all add-ons representing that aircraft are approved for PIREP submissions. At Djazairiya Virtual Airlines, we share our community's desire to see these aircraft accurately represented. However, we uphold strict standards when it comes to realism, system depth, and overall quality. Add-ons that fall short of these standards or that we believe do not positively contribute to the flight simulation community are not permitted. This policy allows us to remain aligned with one of our key objectives, ensuring realism where it matters most. So below is the list of the only aircrafts and developer currently approved for use in our operations. First of all, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it is no secret for you. We do have a fleet of airplanes, which you can see here, and it gives you basically an idea of how many airplanes we have, and I believe you can actually also download them. So if you click here, Lalafat Mansumer, it's a 737-800. If you want to download it, you can go to vAMSYS here, and you can hit Hangar. It's going to ask you to log in via vAMSYS to their first-party service, which is basically a vAMSYS organization, hangar.to. And you go to Files, whichever you prefer. You can go to Files, and then you can go select Category. I want to select Liveries MSFS. I want to select the simulator, and then the add-ons, and then you select Phoenix, whatever. I want to go to Ini-Builds, for example. Boom, I have the two airplanes. I highly suggest that you use both of these. I mean, all of the liveries must be downloaded, I would say, for really maximize operation. Because why? Because you may need to have one airplane or the other based on operation availability. But also, if you do multiplayer on Microsoft Flight Simulator, while we wait for certification from EVAO, from VATSIM, and from Say Intentions and beyond ATC, you may actually be able to see your fellow pilots, if they're flying with you, in the context of group flights or whatnot, directly through the multiplayer section of Microsoft Flight Simulator. So here's where you can download the liveries. You have them individual, but you also have the packs. So you get the 321 fleet, 320 Neo fleet, 738, and then you have the 350, and we are going to be adding the 777, the 787 for Microsoft Flight Sim, and a new addition, which is not present on the previous video, is that we got the level up 737-800 for X-Plane, which is going to be very shortly added, probably today, by the end of the day. It's 1:36 p.m. for me, so we still have the whole afternoon for that. All right, moving on, we go back to that NOTAM. So we get the 737-800 only from TMDG that is allowed. The iFly 737 MAX is not allowed, does not qualify because we do not operate that airplane. If we decide to operate that airplane, we will send a NOTAM or not. If we decide, you'll see a NOTAM. If we don't decide, well, it's just going to be this way. This is the revision from March 30th. Obviously, it's a dynamic list, so it may change in the future, and then you will be made aware through NOTAMs of any change. You have the PMDG 777-200ER and LR. You can substitute for one another because both of them are exactly the same airplanes, if not just a different fuel capacity and tank and fuel tank overall volume. Then you have the fly-by-wire A320neo. You have the Phoenix A321ceo, the headwind simulation A330neo. As long as you use the alpha version, we strongly recommend you do so because it has the latest additions that propulse the realism into a much higher standard. You have the Ini-Builds A350, and there is the Horizon Sim and Bravo Airspace 78-9. For X-plane, we have the Z1 level up 737, the flight factor 777-200ER, which is a brilliant airplane. Telling you as a 777 first officer, I have to tell you that the flight factor 777-200ER is way better than the PMDG. More on that if you end up doing the type rating. If you do the type rating program for the 777-200ER, I'm going to be the person revealing that type rating, or actually hosting that type rating. I will explain you in more expansive details why this airplane is much higher in terms of fidelity, system depth, and whatnot than the PMDG. And then you want to know about it, because you will be completely amazed when you know the difference and how it surpasses in which ways and whatnot. You have the TOLIS, the 320neo, 321 CEO, and the 330 neo, and then finally the flight factor 350 and Magnite 78-9, which is under review. This airplane is not approved for now, but it's under review. Whenever it's approved, it's going to be updated, and we will let you know. I mean, it may not be approved, but we'll see. Right now, it's going under review. Obviously, myself, as well as a team of my real-world pilots, friends, are actually working together to make sure that we certify these airplanes. For my part, I have been type rated on a couple of these airplanes, namely the 737, the 78, and the 777 now. I haven't flown the 737 and the 78 for many years, so I recognize that these airplanes go through updates and new NOTAMs and different ways of handling the airplane, standard operating procedures that remain dynamic, and I'm no longer qualified to fly those airplanes in real life. So I've actually gone through seek the help of some other fellow pilots to actually assist in certifying these airplanes, just to make sure that they are actually really up there. Obviously, the PMDG 737 is already widely understood as a high fidelity airplane, so we're not gonna dig much deeper on that one. But we obviously have like real pilots, real 320 pilots, 320 neo, 321, 330 neo, that are looking into all these airplanes to make sure that they have been here to validate the use of these airplanes. And if it changes at some point, and if it deemed to no longer represent a high level of realism, then they'll be moved out, and you will always be kept aware of this through the NOTAMs. These NOTAMs are mandatory for you to read. You won't be able to book a flight unless you actually read them and acknowledge that you have read them. The next one here is the ground school program. Obviously, Djazairiya Virtual Airlines is going to be here to support your journey, your learning journey as a virtual pilot. We welcome all of our beginner users to join our network, to reach out to us, communicate with us. Let us know where you at in your understanding of the world of aviation and the piloting world, and then we'll take you from there towards the highest possible level and rank on the EVAO or the VATSIM network. We're gonna offer you all the training that is necessary for you to pass each of your required exams from IVAO or VATSIM. We also are going to provide you with computer-based trainings, moduled that are delivered through our official channels, as well as practical in-flight training conducted either in a shared cockpit environment or through live instructional streaming on the Discord, so that we can propulse you forward and get you as much knowledge as possible. At the end of this ground school program, you will be presented with the option to take a type rating for one of your favorite airplanes within our fleet, and that's going to actually add an extra layer of understanding of the procedures and flows and whatnot for each airplane. So the ground school is on a cyclical basis, so it comes in cycles. It's not available all year long. It comes in phases. You will have an application round for the PPL program. You have an application round for the CPL program, for the ATPL program, if you've already been certified elsewhere. And then you have at the end of the CPL and the ATPL, we automatically add the small module, which is the type rating. And that's going to go through a certain, during the training, we'll talk to the people, and then we actually have an agreement on who wants to be type rated on which airplane, and we arrange with our instructors to make sure that they deliver the type rating for you in the best of ways. So that's for the ground school. If we go to after ground school, we have delivery and repositioning operations. Remember that alert in green on the dashboard that I talked to you about? That's basically just letting you know that you have delivery and repositioning operations that are available within Djazairiya Virtual. And that's taking these operations will actually put you in a more challenging position where you're operating something beyond a simple scheduled service. And also, you will be subject to a significant amount of reward experience points, which will accelerate your progression through the airline rank structures. Then, not much to say about that. You have the PIREPs. Your PIREPs may be selected for review, and I've explained that earlier. So your PIREPs may be randomly pulled for review, just so that we can learn from your situation and analyze the PIREP, make sure it's working properly. But also, look into the small sneaky things that may not have gone into the radar, and then it explains also some other situations why your PIREP may be held for review, such as irregular handling of the airplane, bank angles and whatnot, deviation from your fleet standard operating procedures. So if you use an airplane that you're not allowed to use, if you taxi in at excessive speeds, hard landings, crash events, and so on. These are just examples. There's a bunch of other scenarios that may be applicable to this situation. So it says, should a review require further discussion, pilots will be invited to a dedicated private channel on our Discord server, which is the Debrief. If your PIREP is selected for such review, you will receive a unique invitation link granting access to the channel where our operations team will meet with you. And I guess I can't explain this much more than it has been explained. Really awesome. Then we get the Ab Initio type rating program, which I talked to you about. We can read it together. At Djazairiya Virtual Airlines, we're committed to delivering a highly realistic and educational flight simulation experience. In collaboration with real-world airline pilots from various carriers, we are currently developing a virtual airline-specific Ab Initio type training program tailored to each aircraft type within our fleet. This program is designed to provide a structured training that closely reflects real-world airline standards. It will include one-on-one instructional sessions, guided practical training, and dedicated evaluation phases to assess pilot proficiency and understanding. Through this program, our pilots will have the opportunity to learn and apply authentic operational procedures, gain deeper insight into aircraft systems, and develop the skills necessary to manage complex operational scenarios in a professional and realistic environment. Our objective is to ensure that every pilot flying within Djazairiya Virtual Airlines is equipped with the knowledge and confidence required to operate their assigned aircraft to the highest standards of realism and professionalism. And upon successfully completing the type rating program for a specific aircraft, pilots will be awarded the type rated distinction. This recognition reflects your proficiency on the aircraft and also provides several operational benefits within the airline. Pilots holding type rated status will receive increased experience points rewards when operating the corresponding aircraft type. This additional experience contributes toward accelerating progression through the airline's rank structure, granting access to additional opportunities and privilege within the organization. Once type-rated pilots are also automatically included in a pool of qualified candidates who may be invited to assist during various training activities from time to time. These pilots may be asked to mentor fellow members, helping support their development and strengthening the collaborative learning environment we aim to foster. Type-rated pilots can also earn additional experience points when participating in training flights conducted in a multi-crew or shared cockpit environment, reinforcing both teamwork and operational realism. Furthermore, pilots who have obtained their type-rated status and have progressed to the captain rank will be eligible to apply for the position of fleet chief for that specific aircraft type. Each fleet will have only one fleet chief, making this a highly selective and prestigious role within the airline. Fleet chiefs play a key role in shaping the operational direction of their assigned fleet. They may contribute to decisions regarding route development, destination planning, special events, focus airports, operational rules, and training and initiatives. As such, fleet chiefs naturally become an essential pillar within both the operational and philosophical structure of Djazairiya Virtual Airlines. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us and we'll explain you more about that. One thing I want to add on top of the type rating program, I kind of want to catch myself up on my words because, when you start talking, you just go with the flow, We go back to the ground school program very briefly. I just want to make sure for my friends at eval and vATSIM that we do not deliver the examinations of eval and vATSIMs on their behalf. We don't do that. We are not the certifiers. We're not going to be in position to give you a certification or to decide whether you are able or not able to get the certification. That is up to the eval and the vATSIM decision-making team. What we do here at Djazairiya Virtual is that we provide you with the information, the learning, the knowledge, and the training as real as it gets for you to be able to go to eval or vATSIM and be like, okay, I got all the knowledge that is necessary for me. I can take my exam. Obviously, they will offer you practices and they will offer you trainings over there if you want to, but we're doing it in-house as well with Djazairiya so that we can brand things in our own way and make sure that we get that connection with our pilots as well, because you guys are a member of the family. Okay, so that's just what I wanted to add in regards to that, just to make sure that there's everyone is clear on that. After the ab initio type rating program, we go to the mandatory post-flight reports. So as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm going to bring back the Discord very briefly. Every single flight, no exception, must be followed by a post-flight report. You need to click here, just like I showed earlier. You have to send us your post-flight report. Otherwise, you may be rejected if you're caught. I'm not going to be watching every single person. Right now, we're not too many pilots, but when we get eventually to that level, I may not be able to watch every single pilot, but our bot is going to send us warnings that some people have completed a flight without sending the PFR, and you may be penalized. In fact, your PIREP may be not rejected per se, but your points will be zeroed out. So you won't have any points out of your PIREP. You can serve the hours if you want, but you won't have any points, and that means nothing, basically. That means that you won't be rewarded for that flight anyways. So what this says here is there are different scenarios that would require normally post-flight reports in real life. I just have a few examples: diversion reports, fuel discrepancy, technical snags, or airplane bugs in the simulator. Any irregularities encountered during the flight, including but not limited to aircraft system issues, software bug, unexpected aircraft behavior. You're at home, there's a power outage. You had to pause the flight, or I don't know, something happened, whatever. We need to know about it. We need to be aware of it so that we can support you. Like I said earlier, we need to be aware of what's going on here. We need to be really in the context and aware of what's going on. And if everything goes well as well, you can still just generally add it on the PFR. Bottom line, it's mandatory. You have to send it. Next page is, or next NOTAM is route development. Just like I mentioned earlier, we encourage all of our community members to go to the flight suggestion panel on the Discord and send us suggestions as long as they start from one of our 3 bases in Algeria. You can pick any flight, really, any flight. We just want a short explanation as to why you want this flight, what the flight number you would suggest would be, and which airplane, which fleet you want to do that flight with, and we'll analyze that. The community is also going to analyze that. It's going to go to a voting section. Everybody's going to have to add their check marks. You need to reach out to your friends. You need to ask people to come over and to give you the check marks if you want your route suggestion to get approved. But bottom line, it will eventually be approved if you get a lot of votes on it. We also, as staff members, will be able to vote as well. It's always in a democratic way. One thing I wanted to note is to ensure diversity and operation variety, our destinations will operate on a rotating schedule. Rotating schedule means that whatever is available today, whatever destination we go to today, may not be available in 2-3 months, because we will rotate. We're going to refresh. It may or may not be available. Today we fly Algiers to Charles de Gaulle. Maybe in 2 months, we may not be doing that route anymore. Maybe we may be flying to Orly instead, or we may be flying to Manchester instead, or we may be flying to, I don't know, Honolulu, for example. You know what I mean? Each of our routes is within a category: short haul, medium haul, long haul, and it will be substituted on a rotating basis with another destination, which is either close or further, another country, or, just so that we do that. Here are some beautiful words. This approach allows our pilots to regularly experience new routes, diverse geographic regions, and varying operational challenges, closely reflecting the dynamic nature of real-world airline route planning while encouraging exploration across different flying environments. So you may be put in situations where you have difficult approaches that you need to be exposed to, so you can learn your airplane a little bit more and kind of get that extra layer of experience within our organization. There is a NOTAM for the Airbus A350, and bottom line, this says that we initially decided that we were going to operate the A35K, the 1000. However, unfortunately, we were not able to get our hands on a solid, reliable paint kit, and therefore we have reverted to only using the A359, the 350-900, which actually meets very well with our destination requirements and whatnot. We may actually go back to the 35K if we end up having a good paint kit, but that will be it will be updated if we ever decide to do so. For now, 359, it's already been painted, already available. We have Hasiba Ben Bouali, and the other airplane, I believe, is Yamin Zarwel. Hasiba Ben Bouali and Yamin Zarwel, those two airplanes that X-Ray Alpha and X-Ray Bravo. Available, you can fly them right away. We delivered them the other day, Sofiane and I, my COO, from Blagnac to Algiers. You can do the delivery operations if you want to have extra points, or you can fly them off of Algiers. There's a Paris Charles de Gaulle flight that is done with the 350 these days, so take advantage of that. Also, we have the fleet update for the 737. So in the spirit of mimicking realism as much as we can, again, we do sometimes pull airframes, airplanes off of our fleet for one reason or another. In this context, we're pulling the 3 737s that we have off of our fleet between the 20th of April at 1300 Zulu to the 22nd at 1800 Zulu. And because we are going to be reviewing the paint job of these airplanes, the livery, we're going to be adding some Hajj-specific elements to those airplanes. And then we will also be reviewing the livery just so that it meets a little closer to its other airplanes liveries, because we have found some inconsistencies that need to be fine-tuned and tailored. And so any PIREP that may be filed for the 737 within these dates will automatically be rejected, and there will be no exception for that. Just so everybody understands, we're here to be serious, but we're not here to restrict you. There is a rationale behind every of our decisions. Now, I want to talk to you about this brand new thing that was added on the 7th. That's yesterday. And this is the Jumpseat system. We are expanding our operations in such a direction that will limit the use of Jumpseat within our virtual airline. We are pleased to introduce a Jumpseat system designed to reflect real-world airline operations as closely as possible. And just like in real life, crew members may or may not be offered a Jumpseat for various reasons, including personal leisure travel. That's usually an employee benefit. So in real life, if I want to if I want to go on vacation with my airline that I work with, I do have the employee benefits, right? So I can go first class or economy class because I'm an employee if there are seats available, because let's remember those are revenue flights. If there are no revenue seats that I can take, means the flight is full, then the airline can offer me a jump seat if I want to go to one destination or another. And that depends on the highest level of authority on board, which is the captain. So if the captain approves me to sit with them on the jump seat, then we can do that. Okay? That will probably not be simulated on the virtual airline because there's no vacation context here. unless you're going, I mean, we try to find a way to implement that. There will be an update whenever we get something done. But there's also the operational purposes for your jump seats, and it's also called deadheading. For example, Mohammed is based out of Algiers International. Okay, he doesn't want to fly out of Algiers. He's bored. He wants to fly out of, I don't know, Zurich. Okay, so what he can do is he can reach out to us on the Discord, on the jump seat request section, and I'm gonna bring it right away here. You go right here, and then you're gonna request a Jumpseat token. That's gonna create a ticket for you. And it says, to assist us in processing a Jumpseat request, please ensure that your application includes the following information: the reason for the Jumpseat request, the desired destination, the personal benefit of the request, and the positive impact on our airline operations. I'm going to close it, but you know how to respond. Just go there and respond very briefly. Bottom line, we want to know why you're doing that. One of the things that may be approved for you is, for example, you're Mohammed. You're based out of Algiers. You want to fly out of Zurich, and you just happen to be talking to one of your colleagues, Yassine, for example. Yassine flew out of Algiers yesterday. He flew the Juliet Alpha Charlie. Okay, he flew it from Algiers to Zurich. The airplane is stationed at Zurich, and so you talk to him. You go to the flight trade section of the Discord. You talk to him, and he's like, "I don't want to fly back to Algiers. Can you fly the airplane back?" You can do it, but you're based out of Algiers, so vAMSYS is not going to allow you to do a flight from Zurich. You will need to go to Zurich first. So you have to go to Discord. You have to apply, just like I showed you guys, to get a jump seat to Zurich, so that you can fly the airplane back to Algiers. Okay, and vice versa. So Yassine, who flew from Algiers, is going to be stuck at Zurich because there's no airplane he can take to go back to Algiers. We will actually, we have some bots watching that through vAMSYS, just to make sure that our airplanes are realistically positioned throughout the world. So Yassine is going to have to, when you do the trade, when you apply, we want to make sure, whenever you apply, before you're awarded a jump seat, we want to make sure that you get the jump seat to Zurich. So you're positioned in Zurich to bring the airplane back. And Yassine is going to be positioned into Algiers because he does not want to operate the flight for one reason or another. Whether he's got exams coming, he won't be able to use the computer, he's got family members, he's going for a trip. Bottom line, the responsibility of each of our virtual pilots is to really, really take care of our airplanes that you take out. And the sentence to remember is, when you fly out, you must fly back in. And that's how we mimic realistic operations. It's called deadheading. Okay, so this whole context that I've explained to you, jump seating for operation, that's called deadheading. Deadheading for operation. Then we have a third scenario, which is called repositioning flights, which we see as an example for delivery flights. For example, Sofiane and I, my COO, we are both based out of Algiers, and we got the alerts for the 737s that are located in at Painfield in Washington State. Those airplanes were ready to be delivered to Algiers, so we both needed to take a jump seat from Algiers to Painfield, okay, so that we can operate the flights from Painfield down back to Algiers. And it goes into steps. So on the alert banner, it tells you what legs you need to do. You have to do Gander on the 737s, and then from Gander to Algiers. If you fly in the 78 or the 777, those guys can do a direct flight directly from Painfield to Algiers without any issues. That is called a jump seat for repositioning, which is a reason why you can apply, a reason for which you can apply for a jump seat, which likely will be approved. So we understand that this system may not be ideal for everyone. Some people may see this as a complication to their point A to point B type of flying, but we're not aiming for that kind of operation. In our commitment to realism and immersion, this feature will be implemented across our operations. That said, right now, since the beginning of the virtual airline operation, which was April 6th, all the way until May 1st, 2026, we are awarding everyone with a free jump seat grace period, so that you can jump seat wherever you want, fly wherever you want, as long as it's within our network, our flight network. Okay. After May 1st, it's going to be blocked. You won't be able to do jump seats, and you will need to go to our Discord to request jump seats. Of course, you're going to have to explain the reason. and whatnot. One thing to note is that approved Jumpseats will incur a deduction of 250 points per flight. So whenever you get a Jumpseat approved, we're going to remove 250 points off of your next flight, right? And that is considered as a flight benefit duty payment. Alrighty. And after that, we do have another section here that says you may also receive a free Jumpseat token if you have coordinated a flight rate with a fellow colleague. So in the context of a pilot operates the outbound route, but the aircraft remains at destination and they are unable to complete the return leg, you may take over the return flight, requiring a Jumpseat to position yourself accordingly. So you're rewarded. The example they gave you with Mohammed and Yasin earlier, you're not going to get any deduction. You're going to be rewarded, okay, for such a Jumpseat. But you know, the deduction comes in context where you have no real reason of doing that, or if someone abandoned an airplane and did not arrange for a return, and you actually want to fly from that destination, and there happened to be an airplane there, there is going to be a deduction. So we want you to think carefully about, you know, jump seating and making sure that, you know, if you jump seating to a destination and you know you're going to get a certain amount of points, if you fly back, then it makes sense for you to get negative 250 points. You may as well try to get bonuses to kind of, you know, offset the negative 250 points by having softer landings or stuff like that. I mean, there's a whole metric about it, and you are the mastermind of your own operations. We'll let you deal with that. There's also not only free of charge jump seats that are free of charge, but also like rewarded. So for example, if you're doing a jump seat for operation, so like I did with Sofiane from Algiers to Painfield to bring the airplane back, well, that delivery flight is going to award you with 1,000 points, and you're not going to get deducted 250 points in that context because you are doing that for a company benefit. Remember that section that says what is the benefit for the airline? That's that you deliver an airplane to our base of operation. So I hope you guys really find interest in this Jumpseat system. We're going to stop here. I'm not going to go any further onto the next ones because I just want to meet exactly with what we did on our previous video. I'm just going to, because I've actually spoken a lot, I just want to make sure that I am on schedule and also talking about the correct things. So we got our checklist here. All right, so moving on to the next section, we go back to the vAMSYS website here. So I mentioned to you earlier that in order for you to get the full points for the delivery, like for example here, you have to do Painfield to Gander, then Gander to Algiers. Okay. Now there's a section here which is called airports. Okay, and you can see that as well if you book a flight. I'm gonna book a flight just to make sure that we show you like the hands-on experience. Okay. Let's for example, I'm located here at Algiers. I want to do, so let's go to our destination maps. If you do book flight, it's only going to show you the flights that you can fly from Algiers to. But if you do destination maps, you can see all of our destinations. So for example, I'm going to jump seat to Gander. Okay. All right. I have jump seated to Gander. Okay. And now I want to book a flight, and I want to fly to Huaribundin. Okay, I can fly the 737. Okay, and I can dispatch the flight. 6 hours and 48 minutes. I did it yesterday, my friends. It was quite a beautiful flight. Yesterday I flew the Juliet Alpha Charlie, which is Larbi Bemhidi. Okay, let's say I'm booking the flight. Okay, so realistically and kept up to date in real time, we're going to offer you some sort of a information package, which you can gain access to through the booking section, but you can also gain access to through our ACARs, which I'm going to talk to you about in a moment. Okay, you know, operational alerts are shown as well here. And then if you go to next, you get your booking and you get airport information. That's what I want you to look at. So if you click here, airport info for Gander or Algiers, it's the same as if you click here or here. So this one is for Gander, this one is for Algiers, okay? If we click on Gander, by the way, you have a lot of different information from an airport to another. You'll have the operational notes. It says delivery flights only. So this airport is only used for delivery flights. Taxiway caution, exercise extra caution when navigating all airport areas. This is a stopover airport only. Flights ending at this airport will have to continue towards Algiers within 16 hours of arrival. Failure to do so will automatically reject your PIREP. And then you have general pilot conduct and courtesy. As representatives of Djazairiya Virtual Airlines, all pilots are expected to maintain the highest standard of professionalism. Avoid spawning, logging in on top of other aircraft. Wait your turn when communicating with ATC, especially on busy frequencies. Do not block taxiways when traffic is present. Respect sequencing and your assigned turn. Do not initiate pushback if traffic is behind you. Always give priority to other aircraft when required. That's the airport briefing. Then you have the airport information, and by that we mean the parking, the stand locations, and whatnot. Anything that may be interesting for you to know in an operational way. So Gander International, the handler is Allied Aviation Services, ULC in Newfoundland. Standard operation, so for delivery flights, you are allowed to park at gate 18 and 19, only for 16 hours. In fact, they have just closed gate 19, and they switched it over to gate 20. So they renamed it to gate 20. We may actually have to update this one. If it's a turnaround, which means if you've flown from Painfield to Gander, which is about a 7 hours flight, and you're like, okay, today I'm on my day off. I want to do 7 hours from Painfield to Gander, and then immediately I want to fly from Gander to Algiers. I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to be offline, and I will cruise throughout the Atlantic Ocean. By the time I wake up in the morning, I'll be approaching Algiers. You can do that. However, we require that you have a minimum of 2 hours rest time before you start your second leg. That's written here, and it's very important for all of you guys to be aware of this. During any event, and when it's crowded, of course, ATC stands assignments are always taken as a priority. Whenever there's an ATC from either EVO or VATSIM, always listen to them. That is the priority before our airline operations. Okay? So always talk to them. So that's what you can see here from the operational notes. And like I said, you click here or you click here, it's the same thing. Okay? For Algiers Repositioning, it tells you the same thing basically for the operational loads because it's a large airport. Repositioning, the handling is Air Algérie. We're handled by Air Algérie. Standard operations, so we have different types of operation from Algiers because it's our hub. Okay, so we have the domestic flights. So if you fly into Algeria from Algiers, or if you fly into Algiers from Algeria, my bad, then you have Sierra 6, 7, and 8 as a parking. If you're flying from another Algerian hub to Algiers, so if you're flying from Wahran to Algiers, or if you're doing Tamras to Algiers, you can go to Whiskey 1, Whiskey 2, or Whiskey 7. However, if you're flying from, actually also departing, by the way, if you are coming from an international or going to an international destination, then you have Whiskey 22, 23, and 25 at Algiers. No other gate should be permitted unless stated otherwise by ATC. For turnaround and multi-legs scenarios, if you want to do 2 legs on online, basically, then you go in to fly out of Algiers from Sierra 16, 17, 18, 19 for quick turnarounds. If you go into hubs, it's Sierra 20 and 21. And for international flights, Whiskey 14 and Whiskey 17. Of course, always or assigned otherwise by ATC, like we mentioned earlier. So that actually, hopefully, is going to enhance your experience overall as a pilot. I know that many airlines, including, unfortunately, Air Algérie Virtual, do not, at least on vAMSYS, do not offer the stand information. It's always blank. All you have is you have the METAR and whatnot. So I hope you can take advantage of this feature as much as possible. And so if you want to really take advantage of the experience with Djazairiya Virtual, you can look into your stats. You have the number of PIREPs that you have completed. This is for the approved PIREPs. If it's held for review, it's orange. If it's rejected, it's red. And 0, I believe that's for informational purposes. And then you have your points awarded, and you get the bonus points. So these are your bonus points, and these are your regular points. So you do the math. This plus this equal your total points. Then you have the time and distance flown overall, all time, right? And then the distance, of course. Then you have the passenger and freight. I haven't flown any any scheduled flight, so I don't have any passengers and no freight. This is the fuel that we have consumed, and this is my average landing rate. Nice! On my previous video, I was at negative 164. Now I'm at negative 150, which means my landings are getting better. My ID and my current location. I'm not gonna forget about repositioning myself back to Algiers because that's where I am. Let's position myself back into Algiers. Again, the Jumpseat right now, there's a grace period for everyone, including myself, until May 1st, and then it's going to change. So, have I missed anything? I guess not. Yeah, you go down here, you have like the events banners. Sometimes the website is broken, you may not switch them, but yeah, you should expect to have these guys. If it doesn't happen, you can just refresh and it shows you all the events. You can look at them, and each picture you click on is going to take you to the appropriate event. You can also click here and that would do exactly the same thing, right? This information here is the overall airline stats. So we have 9 PIREPs completed so far, 3,000 points awarded, and 5,375 bonus points awarded. So as you can see, we're very generous. We're giving more bonuses to our people than actual points, which is kind of cool. Overall, 26 hours of flight, 9,721 nautical miles overall within the last 30 days. So I'd like to think that we're doing quite very well. Like I said, you can get access to the hangar to download your liveries. There is the ACARS, which is mandatory. You have to see this thing here. That's what is going to track your flights. Okay, you need to, whenever you book a flight, it's going to detect it here. You hit next, you go booking, it's going to detect your flight. You do start whenever you're in the simulator and ready to go. That's going to play a range of announcements, such as the music that you heard at the very beginning of this video. There's the safety feature announcements and takeoff. You will have flight attendants with you on board for the entirety of the flight if you're doing scheduled flight. If you're doing repositioning flights, obviously you're not carrying any passengers, so there are no announcements to be expected. So don't fill out any bug reports. It is meant to be that way. You have the airport, the aircraft. We already looked into that, and then the event section, obviously, is right here, so you can see what is required. It's an event, and you'll be awarded 1,000 points. You have this one for the 350, which is awarding a separate 1,000 points, which I done both, so I got 2,000 points off of bonuses, which is kind of cool. You also have a tour if you want to take part in this tour. This tour, you need to be registered. So you click, you go down here, and you register. Of course, you know what the tour is about. It tells you all the airports that you're going to be visiting. Sorry. And then you go here and you get all the legs. The legs must be flown in order. And in our future tours, we may actually, once we get certification from EVAO or VATSIM or both or whatever, we're going to try as much as possible to coordinate with them so we can bring their tours to life with us, encouraging our people to fly with us, and therefore earning badges from not only EVAO but also from us. Because whenever you complete a tour or an event whatsoever, you're going to be earning a badge, and that's going to show right here. Did I talk about ranks? I did actually show the ranks. Note that whenever you achieve a rank, one of these ranks here, pilot ranks, it's going to show up here. It's going to make you look cooler. And if you have an honorary rank, it's going to always overwrite whichever your actual pilot rank is. So if you become a staff team, it's always going to show it here. If you become a 737 chief pilot, or fleet chief, okay, then it's going to show here. And it's going to be awarding you more credibility, more respect. Obviously, we're going to be creating some badges for the type-rated pilots so that you can actually show off your colors and yeah, and so on and so forth. That is basically a wrap up for everything that so far is happening with our virtual airline. Obviously, a lot of people will be, wondering where are we seeing ourselves in the future, what we want to do. I've mentioned it already on this video and on the French one. We want to get certification from IVAO, from vAMSYS. With vAMSYS, we want to become a certified ATO, so training organization, right? So we're going to be able to offer the vAMSYS training program within our virtual airline, hopefully, once we get the certification completed. I personally am going to have to go through their complete certification with vAMSYS. I don't have it because I just, I didn't do it. I was too busy. I haven't done it. So I'm going to have to go through their full ATPL certification. And then from there, we're going to apply to become an ATO organization. And with IVAO, hopefully the same is going to occur. And then we take it from there. That's basically our vision, our views, our ambitions with the virtual airline. In the future, obviously, the airline is going to be more branded. There will be more merch. When we do the screenshot context, it's not only going to involve sceneries and airplanes, but it will also involve actual stuff, actual products, merch, lanyards, uniforms, hats, cups, mugs, donations, money, and so on and so forth. Always community driven, always by the community, for the community. No profit is intended to be made through Djazairiya Virtual. It is really, really, really a product of the community. And I hope, inshallah, that it's going to enhance everyone's experience in the form of a virtual airline. And, if we can actually create a real virtual not real virtual airline, but actually Djazairiya real airlines, then, why not? If we get some money from the lottery or something. All right, guys, on this very funny note, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Again, comments in the section below, like, share, and subscribe so that as many people can get access to this information as possible. Once again, thank you very much for watching us all the way to the end if you have done so. And we see you on the next one. Thank you.